येन श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna Matajis. So welcome back after a break of 2 days. So as discussed in the last class, we had already begun the chapter 3, but we are yet to complete the summary of chapter 2 and the revision of all the analogies presented in chapter 2. So this is our pattern, like how we do. That is that we complete the chapter and we also look at the summary of the chapter and the analogies given in the chapter. And one more thing is, we also look at the verse number from Bhagavad Gita or anything that Prabhupada has quoted, one or two, we try to remember the verse numbers in that chapter. In future books, when we read, maybe we will try to also remember the one or two verses completely from each chapter. But because this is a first book that we have started, we are just remembering the verse numbers. So from the chapter 1, we remember two verse numbers. One is 5.29, which is also called as the peace formula, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. That is the starting words of that verse, 5.29. And also one more verse number we remembered is 2.14 for tolerance, the verse which Krishna tells about the importance of tolerance. 2.14 and 5.29 from Bhagavad Gita. These are the numbers that we remembered from the first chapter. Now let us see from second chapter, what's the summary, what are the analogies, and which verse number we remembered. Okay, so the summary is compiled here in 10 points. It's a very beautiful, small, sweet chapter and very important also. So the chapter starts with the word yoga and who are the yogis. So the purpose of the yogis, what is that? So yoga is, Prabhupada gives two meanings of yoga. That is, one is to reconnect and one is plus, to add. And he says that there are four kinds of yogis: Hatha yogi, Jnana yogi, Dhyan yogi, and Bhakti yogi. So we have discussed how Hatha yogis, they practice a lot of sense control through different asanas. Jnana yogi, of course, he also has the sense control aspect, but he also reads more of from Vedas and understands the knowledge. He acquires knowledge about different destinations, like within the material world and in spiritual world, which are the planets and how to reach those planets. He acquires a lot of knowledge, and then application of knowledge comes in the form of Dhyan yoga. And a Dhyan yogi, when he becomes a personalist and he understands that there is a form of the Lord, and he also starts meditating on the four-handed form of the Lord in the form of Paramatma within his heart. Then Dhyan Yogi, slowly he understands that there is more to it. I have to also serve the Lord. Once I realize there is a form of the Lord has a form and he can accept my service in that form, I want to serve him. And then he becomes Bhakti Yogi. So this is a gradual, you can say it is a kind of a ladder towards progression towards bhakti. And also Prabhupada says all these four yogis are eligible to go back to spiritual world, but which part of the spiritual world they can reach with what process, that also he explains later. So this is the first point about yoga. This is from the summary, we are doing the first point. The second is the time of death is what decides the next destination, the consciousness at the time of death. So if throughout the life one is developing the consciousness to, say, suppose reach to another planet, then that is where he reaches. Say he does a lot of sinful activities, then he reaches a planet where his sinful activities will be punished. If he does a lot of pious activities, he reaches a planet where his pious activities will be awarded some enjoyment for some time. So, and if he prepares his consciousness in a way that he every moment he remembers what his actual goal is in this human form, then that is what is awarded in the next life. So one attains what one remembers at death. Bhagavad Gita teaches constant remembrance, and this is where we come across the Bhagavad Gita verse that we are talking about. Which number verse tells about this? The Bhagavad Gita teaches that whatever one remembers while leaving the body determines the next state of existence. This verse number, anyone remembers? Okay.
8.5 and
8.6,
5 and 6.
8.6, Mataji.
Correct. 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajanti ante kalevaram. Tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. It's a beautiful verse. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So this verse number we have to remember from this chapter, okay? 8.6. Okay. Continuing with our summary. Now, different yoga systems have different destinations. Already Prabhupada told this in the first initial paragraph only, that everyone is eligible to go to spiritual planet. But in spiritual planet, what are the destinations? So he tells about the impersonalist and the personalist. The impersonalist also leaves his air, the life air, from the top of his head. He shuts down all other senses, all other holes of the body, and the life air leaves the body from the top of his head. But he is at that time remembering the sound Om, the vibration Om, and he is wanting to just merge into Brahma Jyoti. That is his consciousness. He just want to leave the material world, and he's only interested to reach Brahma Jyoti, where he will not have to. He will attain eternity, but he doesn't look at any service as an. He's wanting that his individuality be nullified completely, but it doesn't happen. He still remains as an individual in the Brahma Jyoti, and after some time, he doesn't want that Satya aspect also. We will discuss in few more lines how Prabhupada explains that. Uh, mm, he doesn't require the happiness there, and he is thinking that I am now eternal, but he himself doesn't want that eternity anymore. That's the stage he comes to gradually. But right now, he wants to leave to the Brahmajyoti, so he attains it. But after going to Brahmajyoti, he realizes that it was a wrong choice. That we will discuss in a while. The personalist, how he leaves. Personalist also leaves from the top of the head. His life air releases from the top of his head. But he is remembering the Paramatma form in his heart, the 400 Paramatma form. And so he reaches to one of the spiritual planets where that particular form is being worshipped or is eternally residing to accept service from his devotees. So he reaches there and engages in service of the Lord. So that is where he actually gets the bliss factor also. Satchit Ananda. Ananda factor also is present in the other spiritual planets beyond Brahma Jyoti. Until Brahma Jyoti, only Sat and Chit aspects are present, no Ananda. And in the material world, no Sat, no Chit, no Ananda. Right? So, the spiritual world is beyond birth and death, and this is where one attains his spiritual form. The Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha, and we are also part and a parcel of that Sachidananda Vigraha. So we also attain spiritual body, which is eternal knowledge and blissful form. So this is the spiritual nature. And with the mechanical process, Prabhupada says we cannot defeat death. We cannot defeat old age, we cannot defeat all the diseases. So the real intelligence is to seek freedom from all this, right? So the soul is eternal, the body is temporary. Our nature is to seek permanent happiness and we want a permanent home. Impersonal liberation is incomplete, like I just mentioned that how impersonalists leave. He thinks that I'm going to a permanent place that is enough for me. Sat is enough for me. I don't want anything more. But after going there, he realizes that, oh, I am still an individual. Before going, what he thinks, I'm going to be like a drop in the ocean. I will just merge into the ocean and lose my identity. But after going there, he realizes, oh, I'm a fish in the ocean. So I still have my own identity. I'm not completely merging or dissolving and becoming one with the ocean, and I'm not becoming one with the God. I am not becoming God. That he realizes after going, and he thinks I need some happiness. That is the nature of the soul. He seeks happiness. And eventually what he happens, he has to return again back to material world. He has to practice bhakti yoga, personal form, worship of the personal form. So for that, he returns back again and starts his process to go back to spiritual planets rather only stopping at Brahma Jyoti. So this Brahma Jyoti is like, neither material nor spiritual, somewhere in between. So to actually enter the spiritual planets, he has to come back to material world and practice the full process and go back to spiritual planets. And what is the highest destination? Prabhupada says it is a Krishna Loka, where there are Surabhi cows, wish-fulfilling trees, and the dust there is what is the dust? That is Chintamani, spiritual gems. And it is that Chintamani Prabhupada says that if anything touches it, it becomes gold. So here everyone hankers after gold, right? So there are spiritual gems there. If anything is touched to it, it becomes gold. So why to settle down anything less than Krishna Loka? That's what Prabhupada says. Then how to go to that Krishna Loka? He concludes by saying that constant chanting leads to constant remembrance. Hmm? So we are right now in this illusion in the Maya where forgetfulness is so easy, but remembrance is difficult. So remembrance of Krishna, for that constant chanting. When we take someone's names, we remember them. So first let us uh, have this habit of remembering the Lord through his names, and then our activities also molded in a form that the chanting of the names is there always, and how that is how our uh, previous generation people used to name their children, or even if the children's names are too long, at least at the home, what they used to put on their nicknames, they used to be short and sweet, Krishna's names, or the Lord's names, Vishnu's names. So that way, they used to remember the Lord all the time, and also remember that this child is given to me by the Lord for time being, to guide him, how to succeed get success in this human form of life. Otherwise, what is the use? Like how in the first paragraph only it is given in this chapter that without human form being Krishna conscious, it is animal form only. So this is the 10 points that are the summary. And in these 10 points, Prabhupada gives many analogies. Thanks to Nandini Mataji also that she has compiled many analogies. Let us see one by one all the analogies. And I will invite you also to speak. Anyone remembers how these analogies were explained. So student preparing for an exam. This was the first analogy. Uh, Anyone can say what is this analogy representing?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Ramya Mataji.
As we prepare for exam, like that only for at the time of death to remember the name of the God, we have to chant our whole life, remembering Krishna's God's names. so that we can remember him at the stage of our death.
Thank you, Mandaji. So yes, this is a very nice analogy that life is actually preparation and death is examination. People think life is meant for enjoyment. We keep hearing, no, they say, what is life? Life is to enjoy. We have got only one life. Who has seen the next life? Let us enjoy now only, by hook or crook. And so in that way, that kind of thinking only will lead to sinful life, like how the animals are living. But actually, life means life is preparation for the real one examination, final examination, that is death. And we read in many scriptures how many great saints have sung many songs, beautiful bhajans, where they are requesting the Lord that I may not be able to remember you, so please you come and remind me, you help me, these kind of prayers, because everyone is fearful of exam, no, what will happen at the exam time, will I pass or not. So actual exam is this, at the time of death. So keep remembering the Lord, praying to the Lord that let me remember you. I'm not so strong to fight this Maya. I need your shelter. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whoever takes my shelter, for them this Maya is nothing. Otherwise, it is very strong. Duratyaya, Maya is very strong. But if you take my shelter, then nothing to fear. Do not fear. Mahashucha. So this fear of exam will be there till the time we do not take shelter of Krishna. Once taken shelter of Krishna, then Mahashucha. Also, one more place Prabhupada will give the example of, the time of death for a non-devotee who has not practiced Krishna consciousness throughout his life. It is like a, a, a rat in the mouth of a cat. But for the same death, which is who has practiced Krishna consciousness, the same death for a devotee, how it is? It is like a mouth of cat only, but for a kitten. You have seen how kittens are carried by the cat from the mouth by the mouth only, and the kitten is simply surrendered. It is like wherever you want me to take, you take. The cat very nicely, the teeth of the cat doesn't harm the kitten at all. But the same teeth of the cat, they pierce into rat's body, and rat feels a lot of pain. So this is a death. Death is, you know, fearful for those who have not practiced Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, when one has surrendered his life to Krishna, death is like an agent to carry one from the material world to the spiritual world to the feet of Krishna. And next analogy is yoga means plus. Anyone wants to comment on this analogy?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Maleshwari Mataji.
Actually, yoga means connection, Mataji.
Hmm.
And one more meaning means adding, Mataji. Actually, we are minus God.
Hmm.
So when we are doing Bhakti Yoga, that means we are adding God, Supreme God.
Yeah.
So then only our life will be fulfilled, Mataji. Very
Thank
simple.
you. Thank you so much, Maleshwari Mataji. Yeah, whatever we
Thank
are
you,
doing,
Mataji.
all our activities, they are like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. If there is no one put in front, right? Like if we add one in front of all the zeros, it has got some value. Two zeros, no, have no value. If you put one in front of it, then it becomes 100. Similarly, you may do so many activities in your lifetime, but if they are all not there, not done for the pleasure of Krishna, not keeping Krishna in our consciousness, then what is the use? The animals are also doing such activities, eating, meeting, yeah, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Animals are also doing. And even they are doing maybe in much more quantity than what we are doing. From morning to evening, they are not wasting any time. They are doing these four activities very sincerely. They they are not wasting any time on enjoyment, entertainment. No, and also if we talk about mating and defending. They defend, they fight like anything. They can fight whole day, whole night. Get tired. They search out for food whole day. From the morning 3 o'clock only they wake up for the search of food. And also so many offsprings they can give birth to without any procedures, need of any IVF or any IUI, nothing. They are doing it much more than us. Then what is the use of all those activities if they are completely zeros only? But if in a human form only it is possible that we can put one in front of all those activities. So then only it becomes a human life. Otherwise, so-called human life is only animal life. Okay, then Prabhupada tells about this reading about America before traveling there. Why he uses this analogy? Anyone?
Mataji, I'm just guessing. I was
Yeah.
not there, but by this analogy, I think Prabhupada is trying to tell one should know about the spiritual world and what is our real position and how are we going to be engaged when we go back to spiritual world.
Thank you.
That
Thank you,
in
Sarita
nutshell.
Mataji. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is like the importance of reading Vedic scriptures. We have to study Vedic scriptures, attain the knowledge from the Vedic scriptures, how to go there, and why to go there, what is there for us, what is not here, what is there for us in store. So all this information is there in Vedic scriptures. So read about the reality, the actual destinations that we are supposed to go, gain the knowledge from the Vedic scriptures, not through mental speculation like I think so, I don't think so. This thinking will not help. I think there is a spiritual world. I don't think there is a spiritual world. I think there is a God. I don't think there is a God. I think God is very selfish. I think like that. I think like this. No. This everything, every information about where we are going and what kind of people we are going to meet and what qualities those people have, everything is there in these Vedic scriptures only, right? I was hearing about one Prabhuji, how he came to Krishna consciousness. He was telling that of- he used to hear to a lot of movie songs before coming to Krishna consciousness as a child also. And one of the movie songs was that I hope there is a world where there is only love and love. Hmm? And there is nothing, no hatred among anyone, no jealousy among anyone. Everyone is just in love. There is only thing that is available is love. And when he came to Krishna consciousness, he read in Prabhupada books, which is summaries of all the Vedic scriptures, that actually there is a world, spiritual world, where no one envies each other. And it is without any misery. Why Kuntha? Kuntha is misery. Why means no, no misery. So then he understood that actually I mean, whatever we think, we imagine, those things, if we do not read from the Vedic scriptures, they just remain like some movie songs only. Better to come to reality, not imagining and in a poetry, in a fantasy world. Let us come back to reality and read Vedic scriptures than wasting time in these movies and movie songs, which are anyway just imaginations from taken from the Vedic scriptures only, but elaborated in a different manner, not in a manner that it gives actual solution. Okay, then next is mechanical space travel versus yogic travel. Prabhupada says that the spaceships, he compares to the yogic process, but what he says is spaceships will not transfer us to the spiritual world. Yogic processes are the natural and more effective means to travel to the spiritual world. So he compares the spaceship travel to yogic process here, but he says spaceships are not effective and not natural. Okay. Next example he gives from this, that different bodies are for different environments. He uses the body fish, the fish body example. That fish cannot live on land. Similarly, living beings, we, actually the soul, cannot live in this planet, this material world. It is meant for spiritual world. Human beings cannot live underwater, fish cannot live on land, and the soul cannot live on in the material world. It is not meant to be here, but it is there. So what it will do? It is only undergoing all the pains, and just like a fish, it is struggling when I will go back to spiritual world. That is why everyone is hankering for after Sat and Chit and Ananda, because that is their natural state of being. Everyone wants permanent happiness, and they want to know how it will happen. Okay, then next is visa and customs. This analogy Prabhupada gives. Anyone wants to comment on that? So yeah, so Prabhupada says that okay, many people are now trying to travel to other planets using spaceships or space suits also they wear, no? But these things are not going to help them to further entry. Mm. They can go to the border and can come back because they don't have the actual visa to go back to Godhead. I mean, they may think that I will go by artificial means to the spiritual world or other planets, but because they don't have visa, that is the preparation for it, they will be sent back. Not to speak of spiritual world, even this Swarga Loka planets also, they have their own rules. What is the rule? That you have to have your the pious credits. They will ask, where is your credit card, where is your customs visa documents you show us. If you then can show that okay, I have done this in my life, and now I am eligible for on basis of this for maybe a 6 months residence in your planet, then they will okay allow. And after that, the visa will expire. They will say now go back. This is a reality of the higher planets or Svargaloka planets. Okay, next is the example of apartment and the landlord. Nandini Mataji has covered this in her compilation also. That if say suppose an apartment we are living in, the landlord comes and says, leave this apartment, how will we feel? Will we panic, no? Oh, now I have to look for a new house, that, this. Whether I'll be getting a better house than this or a worse than this, more cost or what I have to pay, I don't know. But if someone is already prepared to leave the house and he has already set another new house or built a new house for himself, or the preparation is done, then how will he feel? He will not feel any fear. He will say, yes, sir, I will move. Similarly, at the time of when death comes, if the preparation is there for a better spiritual home, there is no fear. There is no reason for any fear. Otherwise, a lot of unhappiness to leave this from a long time. I have built this, I mean, this life around this apartment, have so many things. How can I leave? So much attachment is there, that, this. But for one who has a better place to go, he doesn't feel anything like that. Okay, let me go. I was waiting to go only. That's how a person who is fully prepared feels. Then the example of fever. Hmm. So fever is not a normal healthy condition. Similarly, this material body is not a natural state for a soul. That's what Prabhupada says. Sunshine and sun. Prabhupada uses the word sunshine for Brahmajyoti and sun for the spiritual planets. Krishna's personal abodes and Krishna's form. That is like sun. From that, this shine is coming, the effulgence is coming. That is sunshine. That is Brahmajyoti. And one more time, he uses the uh, analogy of sunshine, that countless particles make like sparks of, consisting of many, many small, small particles. Those particles make sunshine. Similarly, the Brahma Jyoti also, what it is actually, spirit souls. They exist there individually. It may appear that oh, sunshine is one, it has got nothing, but there are particles in it. Similarly, when anyone enters the Brahma Jyoti, he still remains an individual like particles in the sunshine. Example of living alone in a room. Anyone wants to comment on that? Why Prabhupada uses this example, living alone in a room? So,
Hare Krishna
one,
Mataji.
yes, Maleshwari Mataji.
If you living in a room alone, Mataji, we cannot stay more time, Mataji. We can feel loneliness and we can feel boring, Mataji. Same like that, if you join in Brahma Jyoti, we cannot stay more time in there, Mataji. Again, we have to come to material world only.
Yeah, because Brahmajyoti
Actually,
has got
mm,
Sat and Chit, but it doesn't have Ananda. So in the search of Ananda, he feels very lonely. Yes, Mataji, I think I cut you short. Please continue. You were telling something.
Mata, if you are alone, Mata, there is no happiness. No one is sharing to our feelings, Mataji. If you are in Brahma Jyoti, we are not with God, Mataji. We are seeing the God only. But if you with Krishna, we can serve the Lord, Mataji. So then only we will get happiness and everything.
Yes, the loving relationships, the loving services, and reciprocations are not there in Brahma Jyoti. Thank you so much, Mataji. It is like living alone in a room. Initially, it feels very peaceful. Okay, I can read my book today, whatever. Then later on, it feels like who will I share this happiness with, or anything that I have. So the soul is meant for service and it looks for happiness in service. Then the example of astronaut returning to Earth. Again, this impersonalist. So in the search of happiness, where he has to he has to come back to Earth. Like how astronauts they can go wearing those suits that will acclimatize them to the other places. They will go for maybe 6 months, for maybe 1 year, but again they have to come back to Earth. They cannot live in that unnatural state for a long time. So impersonalist also for them, this Brahmajyoti is a very unnatural state. Again, they have to come back to material world and do the correct process here to go back to the spiritual planet. And then always living in Vrindavan. Yes, how this point was also discussed in our group. I think when Mataji has mentioned, she liked this point very much that Prabhupada says he is physically in America, but actually spiritually he's in Vrindavan only, always, because his mind is fixed on Krishna. So wherever we are, wherever the consciousness is, that is where we are actually speaking. Otherwise, that's how, in a class of, if a student is not concentrating, the teacher will ask, where are you? The student will say, I am in the classroom. But she says, no, your body is present, mind is absent. So we are where our consciousness is, where our mind is fixed on. So I hope we have covered the summary and the analogies. Still, if any doubt, any analogy is not covered or any analogy covered is not clear, can please put in the group or call me individually. One Mataji has already asked me an individual question. I'm yet to reply. I will do that today, Mataji. Sorry for the delay. And we should move on to the next chapter, the third chapter. We have already completed first paragraph reading, but I think we have already, the time is up for today. Maybe we can read one more paragraph and see. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is hearing about God from the lips of Sri Krishna himself. In this way, Arjuna set the criterion for understanding the Supreme by submissive hearing. It is our position to hear the Bhagavad Gita from the lips of Arjuna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. After hearing, it is necessary to practice this acquired knowledge in daily life. My dear Lord, you are unconquerable, the devotee prays. But by this process, by hearing, you are conquered. God is unconquerable, but he is conquered by the devotee who abandons mental speculation and listens to authoritative sources. So previous class we had started with the third chapter, and the first paragraph talked about how Krishna is Ajitaha, unconquerable. No one can conquer him. No one can say that I will know you, Krishna, by my thinking process. I will guess who you are. I will guess how you will look. I will guess what are the qualities you have. No, they cannot even know he cannot measure the limitations of the space also. This he says, no, Prabhupada says. He cannot even guess what is there in the space. What to speak about the Supreme Lord who's created everything. It is not possible for us to even measure the length and breadth of Krishna by our minuscule knowledge. You can't even understand how Krishna is, what he can do, what is the power that he has, or what are the qualities that he has. You cannot understand. We cannot measure and say that okay, he is this much kind or he is this much creative. No, he is unlimited, and the intelligence is in accepting that I cannot understand you, Krishna. Please reveal yourself to me. I'm ready to hear and know from your representative. That is intelligence. So that is a process. That is hearing process. How to conquer Krishna, meaning how to know Krishna here by process of hearing. So we will continue tomorrow more about the process of hearing, how is it important and what it can help us in. But today, thank you so much for your attentive hearing. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa